sportsmanship, but surely there can be no doubt Frampton has produced another tremendous performance and another victory.
I thought he was tremendous. After the lackluster, I guess, performance it was called in his last fight tonight, he was sharp, accurate, disciplined, did everything right.
Let me mute this. So what we're going to do is we're here live immediately following Frampton versus Donaire. Just got finished watching. Well, it's on right now. It is 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April the 21st, 2018. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Carl Frampton should go on to win a unanimous decision in an excellent performance outside of the 11th and 12th rounds, but still he put on what they call over in the UK a masterclass. His first fight with new trainer Jamie Moore, he didn't look so good. Who was that? Horatio Garcia? I forgot that guy's name. And I covered that fight. But he looked sharp against Nonito Donaire. And you can't take anything away from Carl Frampton when you say that Nonito Donaire is a shell of himself. And in fact, even though this is a big fight, it was a super mega fight about 3 years or so ago. I just never felt that Nonito Donaire belonged at 126 pounds. I did feel
of the old Donaire, but he just couldn't sustain it. And you know, I think he was well beaten tonight.
He only came on strong, really, in the closing stages when Frampton, perhaps aware that the work had been done, went into, if not survival mode, he was certainly coasting a little bit for the last 2-3 rounds, but it was, by then, the work had been done. So, we can go into the ring now because Thomas Schreiber has the judges' deliberations. And we can find out now what the scorecards are.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all three judges, Steve Gray, Zoltan Inyeti, and Patrick Morley, score it the same, 117 to 111, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And now the WBO interim featherweight champion of the world, from right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland, Carlo the Jungle Frampton.
By a 6-point margin on all three cards, Carl Frampton the winner. Belfast celebrates. Nonito Donaire, dangerous, yes, but ultimately very well beaten by the Belfast hero. The WBO belt is around his waist, and he can...
Let's stop it right there and wait for the post-fight interview. These are just photo ops right now. We're still in a very sensitive place with BoxNation BT Sports. I've been waiting on a reply from them, you know, for a while now on how much we can show in regards of content. But anyway, you know, from what I've read and researched, I'm not doing anything wrong. So moving on. By the way, we are providing full coverage for this fight. My colleague that runs, he's been basically, you know, like a godsend. He's been running Fight View 360 for me while I've been getting myself together. Mikey is over at the fight right now as media along with Gary Mack. So, you know, that's another big step for us being able to get 2 credentials for a BoxNation BT Sport Frank Warren fight, you know. So we're very, very grateful that we're moving up the ladder. And that's why I'm doing my best, even though I am in some pain, to have a productive day covering fights today. So, you know, we're going to talk about the fight. I don't know how long we're going to be here because I got to go lay down and rest my legs and, you know, get ready for the Broner Vargas, Charlo Centeno, Davis, Cuellar card. So right now, we're waiting for both fighters to speak. And then we're going to talk about why is this a WBO interim title and what does that fight and what does that title mean? What's next for Carl Frampton that he won? What's next for Nonito Donaire that he lost? Maybe we can get some answers in these post-fight interviews. But from my understanding, in his next fight in the summer, and he's been trying to do this for over a year now. I know that for sure. Hold on, let me turn this up. See, I'm watching the Showtime feed, and what I'm hoping is that they let us hear. Okay, here we go.
The world in the lead up to this contest against the former 4-weight world champ, you promised a performance that would be remembered for decades to come. You've delivered a masterclass tonight. What are your thoughts and feelings on the performance you've just produced?
I knew I didn't want to, I didn't have to get involved in a fight there. As you've seen in the 11th round, Nonito Donaire is a dangerous motherfucker from start to finish. Sorry. Sorry. But look, I survived the round. I stuck to a game plan. I think at times my boxing was beautiful. Only one thing on my mind at the minute, Windsor Park. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get there.
That's all in the future. Let's reflect a little more on tonight, because as you say, he had some success in the 11th round. He appeared to have some success in round number 7 as well. How badly shaken up, if at all, how hurtful were his punches when he caught you on the ropes with those uppercuts?
He was a sharp puncher throughout, and the 11th round, I was definitely hurt. You'll admit it. People could see it. I'm not going to deny it. I was hurt, but I survived it, and that's what champions do. They survive. And Nonito Donaire, I'd just like to say what a nice man, and his team and everyone around him, good people. And can I say one thing as well? My wife Christine and her family, they've had a pretty rough time recently. We have a few deaths in the family, and the anniversary of her father the other day as well. I wanted to come out to a song, Something Inside So Strong, and some idiot played the wrong tune. So, listen, I won the fight, Windsor Park, let's do it.
Most certainly the display that you produced, it was composed, it was cool, you controlled things both from distance, you appeared physically stronger on the inside. How important was the game plan that you put together with Jamie Moore, and how pleased are you that you were able to stay disciplined and implement it so effectively?
I think Jamie deserves a lot of credit. The game plan was perfect, and we stuck to certain shots throughout the whole camp. And when I was on the outside, I was using my jab to the head and body, which is what we were doing in the gym. When it got close, I needed to be really close and use my strength, which I done. I wasn't really in the middle distance too much, and when I was in the middle distance, I got caught. But look, I was fighting a world-class puncher, a world-class fighter, and I was a world-class gentleman. And look, credit to Jamie for coming up with such a game plan.
Carl,
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I didn't know this was going to be this long. Pause.
And have a word. Your second camp with Carl Frampton, the first fight you had just 7 weeks together, and you said in the lead up to this one, you learned far more about one another. What was it that you learned, and how were you able to implement it tonight to produce the performance that Carl executed so well?
I just think that a fighter like Carl, or any fighter for that matter, they have certain habits, certain ways they move. I learned a lot more about him in this camp, mentally, physically, all round. But you know, for him to be able to carry that game plan out, it takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of patience, focus. And he carried it out to a T. I've got to say, you know, Nonito Donaire is a legendary fighter. He's maybe a little bit past his best, but nevertheless, he's very, very dangerous. And he couldn't afford to take any risks. He took a little one towards the end there, last 30 seconds. You know, I'm sure the fans would have loved the fight to be like that all the way through, but no risks. We head to Windsor Park.
Indeed. Jamie, congratulations on coming up with that game plan. Frank, you're the man that can make Windsor Park happen. You've heard what Carl Frampton wants to do. How likely is Windsor Park? Who's it likely to be next? You've got the IBF title taking place at Ellen Road. Lee Selby, Josh Warrington. Is that going to be, the winner of that contest, going to be next for Carl at Windsor Park in the summer?
Well, first of all, do the fans want Windsor Park? Well, we're going to do Windsor Park. That's where we're going. We're going to be in Windsor Park in August. We're going to be there, and obviously all the bits will fall into place regarding who the opponent is over the next month or so. But Windsor Park is the next one. We promised it to Carl, we deliver.
Carl, how excited are you about the prospect of fighting outside Windsor Park this summer?
Everyone knows how excited I am. I can't wait for it, and there's not a man on this planet at featherweight that's going to beat me at Windsor Park. But I want to say one thing. Apparently there was another show somewhere else tonight. Tommy Coyle done the business. Well done, Tommy, and I'll see you next week.
Congratulations, Carl.
He was talking about
Congratulations to all of Team Frampton on delivering a terrific...
He was talking about the Frampton, the Amir Khan card. But anyway, let me say this. So it looks like he's not worried about Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Morris winner. That fight is taking place in May or June. I forgot. But my biggest question is, what's this business with this WBO interim title? Now, normally an interim title or an interim title is supposed to be, in fact, this is what we're going to do right now. This is what I got this WBO boxing rules. You know, I said it before, but that was a several month period where I went through and did like lots and lots of research on so they're not going to interview Donaire. Nope, that's the end of the card. On all these different rules. On all these different rules. So my thing is, you have Oscar Valdez who fought Scott Quigg. He's the WBO champion at 126 pounds. That was back in March. You have you have Carl Frampton, who's there the WBO interim, but yet I don't know how Nonito Donaire was ranked by the WBO, because a month or so before this fight was announced, he wasn't ranked. So, you know, there's so many questions, but my thing is this. To get past all the bullshit, the point I'm trying to make is that when you're an interim champion, your mandatory is automatically the regular WBC champion. Just like Mikey Garcia, it's kind of like that diamond title bullshit they do over in the WBC. You know, this, you know, sometimes I be mad I know all this shit sometimes when it comes to explaining the political mumbo jumbo and how they just made up a title. You know, because they wanted to put a title on Carl Frampton. But what does the title lead to? Because you can't unify that title. Yet you have, or you're not supposed to, unless the WBO comes up with some type of mumbo jumbo, or I just don't know anymore. I just don't know. So let me look for this real quick, because let me see if it's here. Is it here? Is it here? Median weight category, section, title, defense, designation of mandatory. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm looking for something. I don't think I can find it in a timely manner. But basically, go, you know, Google WBO boxing rules, and you can go look at their, you know, that you can go look at their rules for the WBC and the WBA too, and the IBF, you know, if you search hard enough, and be able to see, you know, how they come up with these, with these fucking shits, how they come up with these fights out of nowhere. I mean, these belts out of nowhere. So the question I'm really asking is, okay, well then why are they not talking about Oscar Valdez? You know, so they just won this WBO interim title I just don't get it. But in regards to Nonito Donaire, let's go look at his resume real quick. I think I pulled it up over on this screen right here. You know, the Filipino Flash used to be my man, my main guy. He used to be my main guy here. Let me bring it over here so it's much more clear. Let me see. Get him out of there. Put this over here. Go right here. There we go. You know, he used to be my main guy, you know, 38-4 with 24 knockouts, 35 years old. That's not really considered old in boxing. But when you've been through as many weight divisions being champion, 4 weight division champion, you know, and when you've been through the big fights and the wars that he's been through, you know, and I've heard about this Ruben Garcia Hernandez fight. Somebody that I knew went to it, even though it wasn't televised, and they said it was a stinker. You know, that Donaire he just doesn't look like himself anymore. And I always thought to myself that 126 was just too much for him. You know, I don't feel that he belonged there. But then again, I didn't feel that Carl Frampton belonged there anyway myself too, you know. So here, I can get rid of this now. I didn't feel that Carl Frampton belonged there, you know, either, you know. But he looked sharp tonight. Now, when it comes to if he does fight a Lee Selby's got that big height advantage, you know, that big, you know, like he's a huge 126-pound fighter. Now, to look at the division real quick, and I got to get my rankings updated on my channel. I got to do it, but it's been hard, you know, sitting in this chair this long. You got Gary Russell, who's taking on Jojo Diaz. This fight is very big for political reasons. It's going to be taking place on Showtime. Jojo Diaz is a HBO ESPN Golden Boy fighter, and Gary Russell, Al Heyman Showtime fighter. Gary Russell needs to win impressively for so many reasons, but in reality, fans want Joseph Diaz to win because a lot of fans, not all fans obviously, are just pissed off at Gary Russell's inactivity. You know, it just happens too much. And then, of course, you got these two right here, Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris, who are fighting soon. I believe it's either at the end of May or in June, right? You know, I don't know why that fight's taking so long to make. Then you have Lee Selby taking on Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington's been selling the fight, you know, getting under Lee Selby's skin, Lee Selby is really not a talker. You know, and then, you know, you got this Oscar Valdez situation who fought Scott Quigg back in March. He's not injured, you know, and when they made this a WBO title, interim title, they were talking about it being for the interim or for some type of WBO title even before, or to be the mandatory for Valdez even before Valdez versus Quigg happened. You know, so, but my best bet is Carl Frampton is not going to fight the winner of Leo Santa Cruz or Abner Maris next. You know, he seems as though he has moved on from that. And basically what I'm getting from it is that Leo Santa Cruz Pop got in his ear and like, yo, bro, we're not going over there after you just beat him. You know, even though Carl Frampton fought him over here twice, you know, in the States twice. But Leo Santa Cruz team, even though Leo Santa Cruz said, yeah, I'll fight you over there, fight you anywhere, they're like, nah, we're not going over there, bro. You know, it's kind of messed up, but he's got that other option out there. And also, I noticed Frank Warren and BoxNation and BT Sport, they've been really making some moves. They trying. I mean, Matchroom got a hold on that shit over there in the UK. But BT Sport, BoxNation, you know, they're making some moves. They're trying. Anyway, in TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live. Carl Frampton looks sharp. You know, you wonder the fight, if you've seen the fight. Nonito Donaire's best rounds were the last minute of the 11th round and a good portion of about 2/3 of the 12th round, right? So even though he had that good spot in round 11, that still could have been a swing round because he came on late. But the question is, what if he would have went guns out at the beginning? You know, Donaire just doesn't have it anymore. You know, that flash is gone. No, he's got that power. You know, he rocked Carl Frampton a few times with the uppercut, and there was it was a body shot. Well, I believe it was that shot in the 11th round where there was a body shot, a left hook, I believe, and then a left hook up top knocked Frampton back, and he just was looking like, oh shit. You know, he started getting a little lackadaisical in the middle of the ring. Now, in the beginning of the fight, the early rounds, I was expecting Nonito Donaire to be the bully, you know, to be the one trying to walk Carl Frampton down. So even though on paper they're the same size, and obviously they weighed in, you know, under the 126-pound division or just right on it, I forgot what the weigh-in was. Still, Nonito Donaire was looked at as was going to be the bigger fighter going in. So when I was seeing Carl Frampton, you know, head down, bull, like going straight forward toward Nonito Donaire on the ropes, I was thinking like, well, wait a minute. I thought it was going to be reversed. So, you know, I was really happy to see that Carl Frampton is starting to adjust at 126 pounds. And maybe, you know, he may be just he may be a 126 pounder and that was squeezing down to 122. You know, so I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I'm going to give the fight a 7 out of 10. You know, it just was one of those fights that had the tension because you always knew that Nonito Donaire had that power. But in regards to a boxing performance, Carl Frampton just outclassed him completely. Please subscribe or links to my social media right down below in the description box. I had a little issue being sick, not a little issue, a big issue. But we're easing back into things. I'm hoping this week coming up, you know, it's going to be a really good week, get back to being productive, you know, in a healthy fashion. You know, so today, you know, now let me end this stream so I can go rest my legs so we can get back for tonight's Showtime fight. And then I could pop out a quick American versus Phil LaGreco video. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.